working? Is it working? Yes, we're on. It's working this time. We had a glitch, so I'm a minute or two late. But I'm here. Thanks for joining us. Anybody? There's nobody on here yet, clearly, so I'm just talking to myself. Again, it's the beginning of the video. This is how it always starts. Thank you for joining us for the latest SilviaFindings live stream cataloging event. We do this every Wednesday morning, our time. Could be afternoon, evening, whatever you're watching this. Sometime in the far-flung future, looking for a specific thing. This is our 51st, I think it's 51st episode. It seems like a lot. But time flies by. Tempus fugit, as they say. Today, we're going to be doing... so we finished the rings last week. We had those last few pearl rings. And again, we call them pearl rings. But you put whatever stone you want in them. We finished those last week. And we finished all the pendants. So we're moving on to earring settings. And some of these are going to be, you know, kind of plain, simple baskets, you know, with a post or a dangle. But some of them are going to get really exciting. Which, if you know me, you know that when I say exciting, it means like over the top, super amounts of crazy, intricate filigree work and bling and stuff. You know, the kind of things that, what was it? We had a customer yesterday talking about, she wants people to see it from across the room. So these are those kind of, well, some of them. The first couple are going to be very easy, very simple, very boring. But classic. That's the word, classic. But we have some that are amazing, and including a pair of owl earrings that I tried to suggest to everybody who has a stone that will fit them. But that's a long-running story, long joke. Anyway, same as always, if you, you know, like, I don't know where Facebook, is there likes on Facebook? There is. The weirdest thing about me doing these presentations on Facebook Live is that I don't Facebook. I had an account ages ago, and I actually opened an account, a Facebook account, when it, like, way back when, before anybody knew what it was. It was like a, you know, newish thing in the world. And then I kind of reached a point where I was like, okay, I feel like I'm the product, you know? So, because you don't pay for anything, it's all free, so nothing's free, so what's the product? Hey, I'm the product, my information, my life. So I just kind of stopped doing it. But awesome for these kind of things. Lots of great groups on here. And, you know, we've joined a bunch of them, and we have one. And we can get you people to come and, you know, into our showroom here and see us live instead of meeting us at shows, which, golly, we miss doing shows. It's getting better. I think a lot of people are, you know, starting to accept the vaccines. Vaccinations are going, continuing apace. I've had my first one. You know, I can get my second one again sometime in, I think they said 10 or 12 weeks. So we'll see. Maybe that'll get bumped up. But our expectation is that shows will start up again in the fall, maybe August, September, you know, those shows that happen normally around that time. Fully expected by the time winter rolls around again, that definitely shows will be, you know, going pretty much full force, you know, unless something crazy happens with all these variants. You never know. But that's where we are. Looking forward to getting back into shows, getting to see you people live, one-on-one, face-to-face, which is always great, helping you set your stones and get your silver products stocked up. That's why we're here. But if you share this video, which, again, why? But if you do, we'll send you one of these little polishing cloths. You know, I think that anybody that you know that would be interested in this is probably already watching this, or you know, maybe they don't even know we exist. Why? How can that be? So many years we've been doing this, and there are still people who have never seen this before. As always, if you place an order today during the live stream, you'll get 10% off your regularly priced postage. That's the basic postage. If we have to do tracking and stuff, sort of thing, that's, oh, forget it. We're going to bill you for that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything, remotely jewelry related, we're here. Please use us as a resource. We have lots of years experience. I've been doing basic bench jeweler work for, I think I used to own a jewelry school. So there isn't any question you can ask me that I haven't heard before. Or if I haven't heard it before, I'll make up something. But I promise I will always tell you the real truth. Anyway, so yeah, questions, think about anything, please let us know. We're always here. You can reach us here through Facebook. Eventually it'll get to me, even though I don't actually have the, I have a Facebook account, but I don't use it. But you can just email mark@canadafindings.com or, reach us through any of the thing. If you go on the website, there's a little chat box, chat with us now. That's not a bot or some, customer center in India or something. That's really us. Like, we are the ones who answer those things. So if you try to chat in the middle of the night, nobody's answering because we're all sleeping. It's not going to happen. You'll hear from us the next morning. Sorry, night owls. That's just the way it is. What else? Custom work. I know I hype on this every session, but it's very important. We're doing so much custom work that's just great. And it's awesome. I really think that we're beginning to see a real, not a renaissance, but a real birthing of a industry. I know people hate this word, but bespoke jewelry is a thing, and I think more and more people are, they like the idea of buying stuff that's already made that they can fit their gemstones, but they like even better the idea of bringing something from their brain into reality as a piece of jewelry, I think. And, every day we're working to get us closer to that point where it's easier and easier to do that. The first step is to get the infrastructure in place, and we have that as far as manufacturing is concerned. Right now the custom process, the way it works, there isn't anybody who's offering custom silver jewelry or gold jewelry. We do get in any, silver or gold alloy, less expensive than we are. That's just a fact. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you the truth. That's just how it is. We're awesome. I don't know what can I say. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me jibber jabber, as they say, for hours and hours. So let's get on to the earrings. Let me just switch this camera around so that we can see. Oh, there we go. Our first item, and the first couple of things we're going to look at are just simple round basket setting. This one is 10 millimeter, basket setting. It's just a classic, basket setting with those pre-notched prongs, right? For a 10 millimeter round gemstone. The only issue I've ever seen with these is that if your gemstone is cut really weirdly with a really super deep pavilion, sometimes the culet touches that, that frame in the, which, it has to be there because you have to solder the post to something. But I would say like 95% of cut stones, these will fit beautifully in. And they're just a simple classic, thing that you wear against the ear, where it's more of like a, hey, look at that cute gemstone, instead of, hey, what's that earring you got on that? Anyway, this one is ES221 with a retail price of $18.10 a pair and a wholesale price of $11.31. Again, all these prices I'm going to tell you for the earrings are by the pair, right? So if it's worn by the pair, we sell it by the pair, and it's priced by the pair. So that's how that works. And some of these, as I go through, I haven't really found any, although there are probably going to be one or two. The little display boxes that we put them in the trays are these little things. They're not very thick, so sometimes when we put them in here, we have to bend the earring post that goes in there. So if you see some that have bent earring posts, don't worry. It's not, they don't all come with bent earring posts. You'll get when you order them, you'll get beautiful straight, earring posts. Anyway, so that was 10 millimeter. We've also got, 8 millimeter version of that. Oh no, this is 7 millimeter. What's going on here? Oh, here's the 8 millimeter. 8 millimeter one, EW 537. Actually, this is a different one because, no, that's it. Yeah. EW 537. $14.85 a pair, and is a retail price, and $10.01 is a wholesale price. Again, just another classic basket setting. This has got that beveled seat for your cut gemstone. And 7 millimeter version is ES219 with a retail price of $13 a pair and a wholesale price of $8.13. Again, very simple, classic basket setting. We've got another 7 millimeter one that's just a little bit different. The prong or the post is soldered to one corner under one prong, so it would hang more like a dangle. I mean, it won't dangle off the earring, but it'll hang on the lower piece of the earlobe instead of higher up in it. I don't know what the significance of one or the other is. Just some people like them better. I think with this one, ostensibly, if you had one of those crazy deep pavilions in there, you can get that because it's a completely open back. So if the Q-dot extends past the back of that, but then you have the other issue where if it extends pretty far past the back of that, then when you put it in your ear, it'll poke you in the earlobe, sort of thing, and that might make you a little cranky. Anyway, we've got a 6 millimeter version here, ES27, or that's 5 millimeter, ES217 for a 5 millimeter round. Retail price is $11.44 a pair. A wholesale price is $7.15, and these don't come with backs in them. So, but if you want backs, just let us know. We'll add backs for you, and I'll have a whole bunch of backs. We'll eventually get to those in a video eventually. It's a ES216 4 millimeter version of that, right? Very simple, basket. These are very obvious, simple, plain, elegant, classic thing. Where the point of the earring is to show off the gemstone against your ear and not necessarily the earring. And this last one, ES271, is for a 3 millimeter stone. $9.88 is your retail price. $6.18 is your wholesale price. Again, just a simple basket. I'm going to pull this out of that foam. Right, very simple, pre-notched finding. Now we have some post versions of those, right, which is just a simple basket setting, right, with a loop attached to an ear wire, already done. All you need to do is pop your stones in there and you win. EW735 is a 5 mil version of this, and these trays are not in order, but let me see if I can get some other sizes. I'm making a mess here. So 5 millimeter, here's a 6 millimeter version of that, EW736, retail price of $13.31, wholesale price of $8.32, right? Same thing, just very simple basket setting. I'm just trying to find the next size up, which I think is in another tray. EW738. This is for a 10 millimeter round stone. 17.16 is the retail price. 10.73 is the wholesale price. Again, just a simple, basket setting with that sterling silver ear wire, and the ear wires are just plain. Well, I'm not going to pull that out. It's just regular old ear wire with a coil, right? For a lovely 10 millimeter stone. The next one up from that is for a 12 millimeter stone, EW739 for $19.97 is a retail price, $12.48 is the wholesale price. Again, 12 millimeter round basket setting for just a cut stone. You could probably put a cab in there too, as long as it's not too high of a dome, right? Then you end up with the stones not being secure and popping out at the least opportune moments. Be sitting down having a drink somewhere and it pops off and lands in your cup of coffee. That would be bad. Here's one that I missed. What is that? 8 millimeter, 7 millimeter EW737 with a retail price of $14.56 and a wholesale price of $9.10. Right, it's just another simple basket setting. So we have these in just about every size, from or I should say the earring versions, the dangles, every size from 4 millimeter up to 10 millimeter, 10 or 12 millimeter, and the posts the same. We have a 3 millimeter one all the way up to about a 10 millimeter one. I might have a 12 millimeter one of a different sort, but anyway. We also have these just very simple posts for cabochons. These have a pretty shallow bezel wall, like maybe a millimeter high. ES257 with a retail price of $8.14 and a wholesale price of $5.08. This is for a 3.5 millimeter round cabochon, right? If you wanted, you could probably tape off the back of that and fill that with epoxy resin, if you like, if that's your thing. These actually do come with backs. This looks like LF014 is one of our backs, or 016. But sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It'll say in the description on the website if it comes with posts or not, but that's that. So we have this one in, this is 3.5. We also have it in 4 millimeter ES258 with a retail price of $8.29 and a wholesale price of $5.27. 4 millimeter, we've got a, do we have 5 millimeter? No, 6 millimeter? Oh, maybe we do have 5. We have 2 different 6 millimeter ones. Oh, they're different. So just the plain one, 6 millimeter ES238 with a retail price of $10.82, wholesale price of $6.76. Again, this is just a plain. And these ones, even though we bent the post to stick it in there thing, these actually do come with backs, just so you know. What do you got next? Here's a 7 millimeter version of that. ES261 with a retail price of $9.54 and a wholesale price of $5.97, right? And here you see the backs there. It's just a simple, classic. Here's another 7 millimeter ES262 with a retail price of $9.66 and a wholesale price of $6.03. Simple basket. Again, sorry about the bent post. I promise when we ship them to you, they won't be bent. Oh, here's that 5.5 millimeter ES259 with a retail price of $8.37 and a wholesale price of $5.32. Right? Same thing. This one, I'm going to pull this out because I'm not sure why this is different. If it is different, let me see. well, it's the same. Same basic design, ES260 with a retail price of $10.80 a pair and a wholesale price of $6.75 a pair. This is for a 6mm round cabochon, right, that you would have to glue in there. You know, if it's really super thin, you could probably... No, I'm not going to suggest that. I was going to say you might be able to push the bezel wall over on there, but if it's small enough that you can get the bezel wall over onto the stone, then it's awfully thin and it'll probably crack if you try to do it. So glue is the way to do this. Right. Okay. Where am I? Here is a slightly different version of this. And this one we have in a bunch of different... Oh, God, I should have had all these open beforehand. Just going to do this the hard way. We have a bunch of versions of this. It's just a simple, you know, prong setting, flat setting. So this is pretty much exclusively for cabochons, right? You couldn't put a cut stone in there. There's just nowhere for the pavilion to go. But it has a nice wide smooth silver halo around the outside of it, right? So it's just a nice, simple, smooth silver border around the stone. These ones are for a 6mm cabochon, ES239, retail price of $12.48 and a wholesale price of $7.80 a pair. Let me just look through. Got a couple of other weird things going on here. Yeah, I'm just going to have to retape these later. Sorry. So this is a very cool, simple little, again, it looks like these prongs theoretically are meant to, you know, be pushed over onto the stone. I don't know if you could see from there, but they're little hearts, right? Those little prongs. Don't try to push these over onto the stone as a thing. This is for a 7mm round cabochon. Retail price $11.75 a pair. Wholesale price is $7.83. This is ES208. I would glue that right to the back of that, and then maybe push these tabs right up against the side of the stone. But don't try to push them over onto the stone to hold the stone in place. You know, you might be able to do that if it's really, 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 really low dome cab with a really thin edge. But otherwise, if you're just gluing them on there, they're super cute, right? Those ones come with backs. Here's something a little bit different before we get into kind of the more crazy, well, I don't know, crazy is the word, more ornate ones. This is ES297 for a 3x5mm pair, cut stone or cabochon. Retail price $17.17 and a wholesale price is $11.44. This has got it's just a simple post, right, with a cubic zirconia in the end of the post, and then a length of chain, probably an inch or so, or what do we call that, 30mm, 24mm or so, just an inch, and then just a simple, you know, pair basket setting. So I don't know if you can focus on that. There we go. So kind of a little more elegant, a little more, you know, evening wear kind of thing, you know, dangles. They're just super, I don't know, sexy, is that the word you would use for that? I don't know, I would. Okay, so we had one tray of very simple, you know, plain things. Now we're going to do a tray of really kind of ornate, more ornate ones. EW779 for a 13 millimeter round cabochon. This has got a pretty deep bezel, probably 2-3 millimeter deep bezel. So I don't know. I've never seen a cab you wouldn't be able to put in there, even super thick ones. That would look very cool. So this is $55.43 a pair, is a retail price, and $34.65, right? So this has got that is nice thick ear wire, right? Very stylish, very classic, and it's got that kind of like a Meandros border around that, with that halo of cubic zirconias around the inside. This is like super nice. That's the kind of thing, definitely the kind of thing that you would see across the room, right? And we've got another one. I'm not going to pull these out every time, but it's got those same, kind of bold ear wires with a simple prong setting for 6x8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone, EW780, with a retail price of $18.07 and a wholesale price of $11.30. So this has got that frame, again, a halo of kind of like circles, little rings, graduated in size from small to big, soldered all the way around that bezel, right, with that frame. Then we've got another one. Okay, looks like we're getting a delivery. Here we have, so these earrings, which I just love these, EW781 with a retail price of $22.30 and a wholesale price of $13.94. These are for a 4 millimeter round cabochon or cut stone. I just love this, I don't know, almost a retro sun, sunburst, starburst. I don't know. I look at these and I see those clocks from the 1950s, only way more blingy and way cute. So it's a little retro, super blingy. All the cubic zirconias in there in those rays of the sunburst. And again, those big wide ear wires. I just love those. I think those are one of my favorites. We've got another EW782 for a 4 millimeter round stone. This is for $17.03 is a retail price and $10.65 is a wholesale price. Let me... Doing. So, again, it's just a simple basket setting, or simple. So with all these flower motif, with all the cubic zirconias in there, it might look like they're pairs, the cubic zirconias, but they're not. They're just rounds. The element that they're set in is a pair. It's kind of like a bead and bright cut, or faux bead and bright cut, right? With the cubic zirconias in there as dangles with lovely sterling ear wires. Good sized prongs. So again, cut stones work perfectly in here. I think it's probably the best thing. But you could definitely put a cabochon in there if you want to. Here's a kind of a spiritual cousin of that. Of that first one I showed you. That big one there with the big with the Meandros on the outside. This is kind of the same thing, a little bit different. EW783 for a 13 by 15 millimeter oval. Retail price is $49.41 and a wholesale price is $30.89. These have that same big bold ear wire, which I'll pull this out. And then they have these little, when I was doing filigree work, I had a name for these. I call them kidney beans. But they're like curlicues, I guess, on both sides. But they look like a kidney bean to me, so I call them kidney beans. So the little kidney bean components or curlicue components all the way around the outside of that halo of cubic zirconias. bezel wall is probably 1.5 millimeters or so. So your stone would definitely have to be glued in there. But again, just gorgeous, gorgeous piece. With a nice wide basket. And the reason why to have a basket like this for something that you're going to put a cabochon into is to provide a counterbalance, right? If you put way too much weight on the front, then it'll end up tipping kind of forward as it's in your ear. But with that counterbalance, with that counterweight on the back, that you know, helps keep everything more level. I think. Right. A lot of these are actually new. I think they're just you know, new on the website too. EW of this tray anyway. These fancy ones. EW 785 with a retail price of $28 a pair and a wholesale price of $17.50 a pair. These are for 5 millimeter round cabochons, and I'm not going to pull these out, but I love that. It's just that same, you know, chunky ear wire. Where the front is chunky, right? I mean, the part that goes through your ear is the same as any other. But it just gives it, I don't know, a little more heft, a little more weight, a little more credibility, right? And I just love this scene, you know, this vines, leaves, you know, flowering up from the bottom. You're going to put your cabochon in there, right? So that's just an offset. And surrounded by a halo of cubic zirconias in there, right? And that's, you know, open back. So, you know, when you're wearing that, whatever, you know, whatever's behind, so I guess your cheek probably will be whatever color that is behind. I just love those. I think these are just stunning pieces. And they're not my favorite. I'm saving my favorite one for the end. Here's EW 786 for a 13 by 15 millimeter pear shaped stone. Retail price is $34.72 and wholesale price is $21.70. So these have that same chunky ear wire, and I call it chunky, but again, the ear wire itself is not chunky. It's just a normal ear wire, right? It's just the front. I just like that front, a big bold front. Surrounding this, I think we have a pendant version of this that's almost the same. It's a little bit taller, a little bit wider. So this just, you know, vines wrapping around the top of this halo of cubic zirconias going all the way around. A simple basket setting, right? This is definitely kind of in between the kind of pendant or earring that would say, you know, look at this cool earring. Oh, and oh yeah, there's a stone in here. You know, versus something that's entirely servicing the stone, and say it's more like, look at the stone in here. This is kind of something that's in between. With the right kind of stone, you know, you get some really awesome serendipity going where the sum of the parts are greater than the whole, or whatever that, however that works. EW 787. Oh boy, talk about a mixed metaphor that I totally, oh boy. EW 787. Best to move on. 7 by 9 millimeter no, that's pear. 7 by 9 millimeter pear for a retail price of $30 and a wholesale price of $18.75. Again, very simple, classic. This has got those same bold, chunky ear wires, although there's been set with some cubic zirconias, a row of cubic zirconias in there, doing that same kind of faux bead and bright cut. And when I say faux bead and bright cut is a stone setting technique where you drill a bunch of seats for the stones, and then using a graver you cut out the sections in between them except for the corners, and then the corners you can once you put the stones down in there, you could push the corners down into little dots that form the prongs that hold them in place. And then you carve out, using a graver, carve out all of the areas around it to give it that open space kind of thing. And then a lot of times you'll see use a mill grain tool to push little dots into those things. It's not here, but you just see that normally. So that's just a stone setting technique. And it looks like this, but it's not. These are actually cast in place. But anyway, we've got this beautiful scalloped kind of halo of cubic zirconias around a very simple pear basket setting. And this just adds so much credibility. So if you had a pair of stones that are kind of lackluster, that are okay but not amazing, you could put them in here, and then the earrings would be amazing. Or if you had a couple of pear stones that are amazing, these would just be the perfect place to set them off. So there's always that fine line, when you're doing jewelry design, how much bling do you want to bring, and does the bling take away from the stone or add to it, and in something like this, I think it works either way, It could make a kind of a boring stone amazing, and it can make an amazing stone incredible. Trying to find superlatives that are better than amazing. Off the top of my head, EW788 for a 5x7mm oval cabochon or cut stone. The retail price is $30.32 and the wholesale price is $18.94. Now these, oh, I had this open a minute ago. Okay. These, the ear wire, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit longer, right? Definitely stylish, a little more bold at the top. There's a little single cubic zirconia dangle between the two, little component, right? And then it's just got that lovely, I don't know, sort of like a chevron component right around the bottom of that with that, see, this is a really traditional kind of bead and bright cut look to it, where you can see the borders of that thing. So ostensibly this was a smooth piece of metal, and then each one of these seats was carved down into the stone, and then the areas around them was carved out, so you're just left with this border thing. And it's a time-consuming process, but it's really stunning when it's done right. These are obviously cast this way, but the effect is still gorgeous. I love it. This has a lot of bling. This would be good for, I don't know, a clear stone, or maybe, I don't know, you can put whatever you want in there, but I love it. And, the basket is deep enough that I can't imagine a stone not fitting in there, right? Just close that up. And speaking of bling, EW789 for an 8x10mm oval cut stone or cabochon. Retail price is $30.78 and wholesale price is $19.24. This, I may as well pull one out. This has that same gorgeous ear wire with the cubic zirconia set in there. It's a little different in that it terminates at the bottom with a little bit bigger stone on the dangles. And then we just have this lovely dangle, right, basket setting with prong setting for 8x10 stone. We have a pendant like this that's almost identical. It's really close. I think these are hearts instead of these flourishes. But it's one of our best-selling pendants, things. So we just made this earrings to complement those. So if you got a pair of 8x10 cabs or cut stones, boy, this definitely adds instant credibility, right? It's a little classic, a little Victorian looking. I just love this. And again, it's got a nice deep basket, so no matter how ridiculously deep your pavilion is, you should be good, with that. I don't want to say 100% because you can never tell, but I would say 99% of 8x10 stones will fit just perfectly in there. EW784 with a retail price of $22.75 a pair and a wholesale price of $14.22. This is for a 6mm cabochon or cut stone. Either will work in there. I think ostensibly it's designed for a cut stone, you know, with a little basket. The basket's not super deep. Cabochon, you put whatever you want in there. And I just love these. It's got that bold ear wire, that big chunky ear wire, with a cool, I don't know, it's like a starburst, you know, explosion, you know, sort of. It's symmetrical, so it's not really, but it's just very cool. Around that, and then of course surrounded by this halo of cubic zirconias in there. The prongs are pretty good length, so golly, you could put anything in there. Cabochons, cut stones, you name it. Just gorgeous. I just love these. I think these are new, or newish, I guess. These are definitely from 2021, I think so. If you haven't seen these at shows, that's because there have been no shows. And these are new since the last time we've been at a show. So look forward to seeing these when you're at the next show. Or here. EW792 with retail price of $53.66 and a wholesale price of $33.54 for a 7x9 millimeter oval. This has that, I think we've seen this similar one before, ear wire with that nice row of, this is different actually, with a nice big row of cubic zirconias, and it gets nice and wide down at the bottom. And there's a couple of dangles instead of just one, like we had on one of those others. There's a couple of little dangles in that to add a couple of extra movement, a little more movement to this. And this is just all bling. Look at this, right? So there's a row, halo of, not really a halo, but a row of cubic zirconias just around the outside of that. And then there's this kind of like a scalloped halo on the outside of that. So this is definitely all about the bling. You'd probably want to put a really bold colored stone, like a nice dark emerald, or probably a blue stone would be cooler, like a mystic topaz. I know that's not really a real stone. Don't add me. But a nice dark blue sapphire maybe, or I don't know. All kinds of nice stones. Dark blue. I think dark blue would be best in this. But dark red. Ooh. Nice garnet. Beautiful garnet in there. Or yeah. Hessonite. Something. Or my favorite colored stone. Ethiopian fire opal. That nice orange. I know nobody likes orange gemstones. What's up with that? I love them. For some reason, orange. That vivid orange is my favorite color. Which is why I work primarily with metal and not with stones and color. ES322 with a retail price of $15.81 and a wholesale price of $9.88 for a 3x5 millimeter oval. Look at these. They're so cute. These are just simple posts. Do I have that open? Doink. And I think we may have bent the post to put them in that little prong. Yeah. So we'll just show you this like this. Right. So nice tall prongs. So you can put whatever you want in there, cabochon or a cut stone. Probably a cabochon would be better than a cut stone. There's a little bit of space there between the bottom of the seat and the back of the earring because they're pretty thick. So if it's a pretty, and again, when it's a stone that small, the pavilion is generally not super deep. So you'll probably be fine with a cut stone, but I think a cab is what this is designed for. Lovely, super cute flourish hearts, right, with the ribbons that come around and twist around, and then the inside set with that cubic zirconias in there in that same faux bead and bright cut setting. I just love those. So cute. You can also maybe wear them upside down so they could be something, not a heart. I don't know. They'll always be hearts to me because when I look at them, that's what I see. Also, the earring post is at the top. So Make of that what you will. Our next item, ES 352 with a retail price of $19.23 and a wholesale price of $12.01. This is for a 3x4 millimeter oval. I'm going to open this, see if I can't pull one out. Oh no, there, it's bent. Right, so prongs are not super tall, so I think a cut stone would be best in here, although a small cab would work just great too in there. And it's just a simple, round basket, sort of shape. The gallery is, I should say, not really the basket, with some cubic zirconias set in there, a bunch of them, and little wire components. I don't really see a pattern though. There's like these little sections are kind of like hearts, the little silver sections, kind of stylized hearts that kind of spiral around that earring. They're just very cool. Our next one, ES353 for 8x10 millimeter oval. $37.30 is the retail price, and $23.31 is the wholesale price per pair. This one is, so we've got just kind of dual sort of halos that come around the up and top, the top and the bottom of the setting. Prongs are nice and tall, so pretty much any kind of stone would fit in there. Cut stone, cabochon. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that stabilizing bar where the post is soldered to down at the bottom, that's pretty far away. I mean, you can't really tell that well on here, but I can't imagine there's a cut stone that won't fit in here. I think you'd be fine. And again, their posts, they're nice and big and wide. Definitely the kind of thing that you see from across the room. And very simple, but, super elegant, right? You just can't go wrong with rows of cubic zirconias. And there's a little silver elements down on the sides where they meet. I love those. ES354 with a retail price of $14.13 and a wholesale price of $8.84. This is for a 6 millimeter round stone, and this is very kind of deceptively simple component. Right. So it's just that round seat, right, with the prongs. Pretty good sized prongs. So this is definitely designed for a cabochon, considering how flat it is. So you put your cab in there, and then there's three little, comets with the cubic zirconia at the head, and then the tail coming back down onto the thing, and they're arranged in perfect thirds around the outside of the edge of that thing. It gives the whole piece a feeling of movement, right? Like it's almost like it's spinning around, spiraling around. Very simple. Super elegant, right? Just put a couple of really, boring cabs in there. This will dress it up a whole lot. Or you could put a couple of amazing cabs in there, and see what happens. I just love that. I know we're getting close to an hour, so we're getting, I'll just do a couple more. I saved my favorite one for last, ES355 with a retail price of $27.81 and a wholesale price of $17.38. This is for a 6 millimeter round cabochon or maybe a cut stone. That, again, the basket is pretty deep. I don't know if you can see that. So there's lots of room for a pavilion down in there. And this is just super, classic, elegant, Victorian kind of style. I just love that, almost like a Iron Cross, right? What is that? That metal? It looks like a metal to me. I don't know. Anyway, so it's got that little chevrons with the cubic zirconias at the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, and then rows of cubic zirconia all the way around, kind of like creating a square halo around the round stone. Right? Just cannot go wrong with this. There's enough bling that it definitely adds some excitement to it, but not so much that it overwhelms the stone. Even if it's a real boring stone, this would definitely not overwhelm the stone. Yeah, I think, oh boy, beautiful, nice blue zircons in there would be just stunning. Oh, but I digress. We're getting close to the end. EW790 for an 8 by 10 millimeter pear-shaped stone. This is for $37.30 is the retail price, and a wholesale price of $23.31 is the wholesale price. Right, so simple basket, pear basket. It's got that tall, nice, super tall ear wire. That gets bowled with a row of cubic zirconias in there, terminating in a single wide cubic zirconia, right? Right from the, connecting right to the basket. And then you've got this very cool effect where the inside or the rear of the basket and the front of the basket sort of interpolate with each other. So it gives it kind of like a very more 3D effect. I don't know if you can see this on the camera. On the screen, but in real life, it's kind of very cool, very stunning look to it. These scallops looks almost like petals of a flower. And then there's just a simple halo, a pear-shaped halo of cubic zirconias around the simple basket setting. This has got those double prongs at the top, which, as you know from if you've ever seen any of the pendant videos, I'm a big fan of. I think they're way better than the chevron prongs that they use sometimes. Way more versatile, way less prone to cracking of your stone, which is kind of important generally. Again, nice deep basket, so a cut stone will work in here. Cabochon can also work in here. And there's just one more thing in this tray that's kind of weird. I don't know why it's in this tray, because it's not really a setting, it's just bare ear wires. I'll probably go back and do this one again when we do the actual ear wires. EW775 with a retail price of $3.45 a pair, wholesale price of $2.30 a pair. This is pretty tall kidney wires. 22 gauge is the ear wire, and then you just dangle whatever you want from that, right? It's just that classic kidney wire with that shape, that hook, right? Pulls open, doing. Put that on your ear and put that on there, and then that thing dangles down. Anybody who's ever used normal sized ones of these knows how versatile they are. Very simple, very classic, very tall. I love those. Those are for dangles for sure. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show you today are, these are my favorites in this tray. I just love these. EW791 for a 6 by 8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $39.16 a pair, and wholesale price is $24.48. And it's a kind of a lever back. It's kind of a backwards lever back, right? Where this is the post that goes into your ear, and then this comes up on the back and clips shut. To holds that on your ear. It's really super secure. It's got a row of cubic zirconias right around the front of the ear wire where it hangs out. But then it's got this, oh God, I just love this. It's so cute. This owl where your 6 by 8 millimeter cut stone or cab will be the owl's belly with those little wings, and then his big eyeballs and those big eyebrows. How can you say no to that? Come on. It's just the cutest thing. I love these. I know that's just weird, but that's just me. I just love these. Okay. I think that's it for this week. Next week we'll continue on. I'll go grab a couple more trays. I think that's a lot of those were rounds, and I think we're pretty much done with the plain, just the post with the things rounds. I think we'll do ovals next week, and then a bunch more. So we'll do, one tray of simple, classic, basket settings, the staples, the things that you need all the time, and then we'll finish it off again like we did this week with some more interesting blingy, interesting, settings and things to put the stones in, because there's a piece for everyone. Again, I think I mentioned last week, there was a ring that it baffles my mind. I don't know who designed it. I don't know why it was designed that way. It makes no sense to me technically, but we sell a ton of them. People love it. I don't know, but it's just me. So, there's always something for that somebody sees in something that maybe you don't see or I don't see. So I don't judge. Whatever works. There's no, right way or wrong way. There's just a way or another way. Live and let live, right? Is that the thing? So, thanks for joining us this week. We will be back next week, next Wednesday, 10:30 Pacific. And then you can extrapolate that out to wherever you are. I don't want to do the math off the top of my head. Or catch us later on YouTube. If you're not here live, that's okay. Please ask questions. I should probably go on YouTube and have a look and see what the comments are, if there are any. If anybody's actually watching these things. I know the point is to put a kind of like a video catalog of all of our items up there, and I hope it's interesting. It's interesting for me to go through. Every once in a while, I see something that I've either never really looked at before or I just missed it, and some things have been very cool, very shocking. I don't know, shocking is a bit of a loaded word, but it's always interesting to see all this stuff. When you have thousands of products, it's hard to be intimately familiar with all of them. I'm really familiar with a lot of the settings because having done shows for a couple of years, we do free setting service at the show, so people will come and they'll find a stone and they'll come and try to find a setting that works, and then we'll set it free at the show. So I've actually used most of the settings by now, so I'm kind of familiar with them. Earrings a little bit less so. We have a couple of customers who love earrings, although almost all of them replace the ear wires. So, we put just a plain ear wire on there, but we have a whole bunch of probably 20 or 30 different, shapes of ear wires, which we'll do, I don't know when we get there, a couple of weeks. Some of them are just so cool, so, they'll buy one of these pairs of earrings, and then they'll buy a cool pair of ear wires, and then they'll just switch them out. So it's, it's cool on top of cool. It's so cool. Anyway, another tangent that I didn't mean to go down, so my apologies. We will see you here as I'm dying next week, 10:30 Pacific, and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, keep making stuff, keep creating, keep having fun. This is God, if you are in this as a business, as a hobby, it's great because you can definitely, once you start working and you start, getting into it, the world dissolves around you, and then you can get into your little fugue state and, working, and then you can look up at the clock and realize, oh, I should go to bed. It happens a lot. But it's really important to have those breakaway moments, and this is one of those hobbies that you get to do that with. Now, if you're doing this as a business, you get the extra added bonus of having almost always having to deal with happy people, right? Nobody's, or rarely. I mean, obviously, there are always going to be a customer who's something, a misunderstanding, or something didn't work out right, or something, But those things, thankfully, are very few and far between, especially when our products are always so awesome. But you know, it's not like the dentist office where everybody who comes in is in pain and unhappy, or you know, a DMV where you're going to get your driver's license, where you have to stand in line, and you know, and there's civil servants who are just stamping papers and they're not interested in having a nice day. You know, everybody who comes in here is already, you know, kind of happy, so it's nice. It's a good atmosphere to steep yourself in. So keep that in mind. Keep making stuff. Keep those creative juices flowing. Take care of yourself. Take care of the planet. Take care of your mental health. And we will see you next Wednesday for another live stream. All right. Bye.